I have often let the thief of joy rob me of the satisfaction of completing a project. Subconsciously, I might be thinking, well, if it's never finished, then it can never be bad. I make samples for musicians, and this particular pack I've worked on for over a year. And honestly, that's pretty typical of how I work. If I was my own boss, I definitely would have fired myself by now, but I'm in no rush. When it comes to sound, time does not influence me. It is energy and emotion that I chase. And all of this began when I connected with Dan Bailey, music director, engineer, and drummer for Father John Misty. I posted a video glazing my A77, the Revox A77, one of the most magical tape machines ever created. And Dan left a comment. He said he had a Revox accompanying mixer. An idea was born. What if we recorded a loop pack inspired by a late 1960s playing and engineering using only Revox equipment? And to make it extra spicy, I decided to simultaneously record everything on my all-TEAC signal chain, ending up with two identical packs with completely different sonic flavors. Dan was game, and we got started. This was done back when I had lost my voice, so communicating was very interesting.
Have you ever been to Montano de Oro?
I don't think I have.
We discussed mic placements,
I love a 664, 635 is cool.
achieved test tones,
Yeah, that's way more direct.
and then got rolling. Everything went smooth, and in a few hours we wrapped and I drove home with the tapes. It wasn't until I arrived home that I realized something might have been off. First, I realized I recorded the overheads a bit hotter than I intended to. This contributed to a much more boxier sound than I was going for, leaving me with no control over the kick and snare. But I was optimistic. As the recording progressed, the signal got hotter and hotter. Now I love analog saturation, but this was not the mood I was aiming for. I wanted velvet, sheen. Then I listened to the TEAC tape, and oh my god. First, I accidentally compressed the kick drum about 30 dBs. This I blame on multitasking. Second, the balance was not right. It was too cymbal heavy, which was fine for the hi-hat loops, but when the ride came in, it became fairly unusable. I was trying to convince myself that I liked it, but as the day went on, I realized something. That I was going to be remixing this entire project from scratch. As much as I wanted these drums to be straight from tape, I knew that just wasn't going to be the case. Wundertone, after all, is all about harnessing the power of both mediums, using the best of both worlds to create a compound of texture and precision. And luckily, Dan had made a digital backup, and so did I. Thus began the official first remixing. And of course, I had a wardrobe change because I didn't want you to think that I was doing all this work all in one day. Ear fatigue fears me. Although in hindsight, I should have been more patient and let my ears rest. But I was on a mission. And would you be surprised if I told you that I began obsessing and doubting every decision I was making, never feeling connected or excited about the work? And more problems began to show. The reels I was using were only 7 inches, which meant I ran out of tape way before midway of the session. Things were getting complicated. so I shelved the project. But as time carried on, that same fateful Revox reel,
it is the sound, it is the soul, and it is the spirit of wondertone,
brought another opportunity. RTM. The tape company saw that video and wanted to collaborate. This afforded me for the first time to have brand new 12-inch reels. Sometimes patience has an agenda. Now I can mix the whole project in one go. One afternoon, I reset the whole process, routing the individual sounds to the compression, reverb, mixer, all that fun behind the rack stuff. I got a solid tone, a nice 60s inspired feel, one that's soft and dreamy but could take saturation very well, and I began reprinting the entire mix. And the work went late into the night. Dink got a little restless near the end, towards the finish line, and we called it quits. But that is just the Revox side. I hadn't even touched the TAC yet. You know, my bright idea to double the amount of work I had to do just because I love a good comparison. This time, I decided to use a new tape stock, SM900. This tape could take a little more punch, which continued the theme of me trying to make these drums sound night and day. I also received a studio upgrade at this point, the Eventide Omnipressor. Big thanks to Eventide. I got that thing pumping and fed it the drums. I decided to take a little field trip. So I went to my friends at the Depalma house.
Hey, bro. What's up, man? How you doing? Good. How are you? Good. What's in your hand, man?
There I had it transferred in their brand new mixing room, with additional assistance from Simen.
Yeah, hard for you to see there.
Well, there's not too much we gotta see. Okay, that sounds fucking amazing.
That's probably where I put it. So that's compression in, compression out.
That's good. Alright, so. Should we run it?
Pretty good sounding, right? Oh, you gotta record that.
Shout out Simen.
That's fire sounding.
And what an experience to hear the drums on such a system, making decisions with intention. Finally, the project was complete. Could I do it all over again and make it better? Absolutely not. It's important to recognize the magic of making split decisions with your intuition, committing to sound, keeping the focus forward rather than what could have been or what could be, and avoiding that thief of joy. You know who I'm talking about. Realizing when you're so deep in that rabbit hole, you're potentially sucking the spirit out of what you're making, all because of the thirst of perfection. This is my proudest offering. I love these drums. I put so much work and dedication into these, and I've been using it in a lot of my videos, sneaky, and whenever I see a comment of someone asking what are those drums, my heart flutters a little bit and I get excited, realizing that other people recognize the magic as well. I can't believe they're finally done. If you like these drums and you want to support the channel, please consider picking up a copy of 68 Breaks, brought to you by Dan Bailey and Wondertone. I love to post random bootleg Wondertone packs on my story on Instagram, so you may have already heard a small snippet of this pack, like my friend moods.music has. I sent them to him, and he showed me such incredible processing that he did. That I had to ask him to have a hand at remixing the TX side. He obliged, and the pack comes with my favorite loops from his mix. Check out moods.music, it's incredible. Thank you for all your support. I enjoy doing this, I hope you enjoyed as much as I do, and happy chopping. Oh, and by the way, there's also a vinyl coming, so keep an eye out for that.